My name is Emma, and this is the story of how rejection, betrayal, and a family's indifference turned into my greatest triumph. Growing up, I never felt like I quite fit in. Not in school, not in social circles, and especially not in my family. My sister, Amanda, always seemed to be the golden child, effortlessly gaining my parents' praise and approval. She was the one with perfect grades, impeccable manners, and an innate ability to win everyone's heart with her bubbly personality. I, on the other hand, was always the quieter one. More focused on my studies, less focused on maintaining appearances. But I worked hard. I did everything I could to earn their love, their approval, but I never quite measured up. Then came the moment that changed everything. I was 18, just a few weeks before graduation, standing in the living room of our suburban home. The house that had seen me grow up, but had never felt like a place where I truly belonged. My parents sat across from me, their faces serious. Amanda was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through her phone, barely acknowledging what was about to happen. "Emma," my mother began, her voice clipped. "We've made a decision. We're going to pay for Amanda's college tuition, but not yours." I blinked. My heart stopped for a second. "What?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "You don't need it. Amanda deserves it more than you," my father added, his tone almost dismissive, like this was a simple fact of life. I felt the weight of those words crush me. My stomach twisted in knots as I stared at them. "But I've worked so hard. I'm graduating with honors. I'm going to be the first person in this family to attend college," I protested, my voice trembling. "We don't think you need it. We're supporting Amanda because she needs it more." "You've always been fine on your own," my mother replied, as though my hard work, my dreams, and my future didn't matter. Amanda didn't even look up from her phone. She didn't care. She was used to it. To her, this was just another part of her perfect world. She didn't see how much it hurt, how much it shattered my sense of belonging. The words hung in the air, and I could feel the heat in my cheeks as anger boiled inside me. I turned and walked out of the room, but instead of crying, something else emerged, something much sharper, more calculated. I realized something in that moment: I would prove them wrong. I would do it without their help, without their validation. And I would show them that I didn't need them to succeed. The struggle in the months that followed, I did what no one thought I could. I found a way to pay for college. I worked multiple jobs, days in the library, nights waiting tables at a diner, weekends tutoring high school students. I lived on no sleep, but I never let up. My grades stayed perfect, and my professors started to take notice. But I wasn't just working to survive, I was building something. I had a talent I'd kept hidden from my parents: I could design jewelry. When I was younger, I'd make little pieces here and there, never thinking much of it. But now, it was my lifeline. I started small, selling on Etsy, learning everything I could about e-commerce, digital marketing, and customer service. My business grew, slowly at first, but then it exploded. It was an underground success that no one in my family knew about. But success didn't come without sacrifices. There were nights when I wanted to collapse from exhaustion, when I felt like the weight of my double life would break me. I would come home after long shifts, pull out my laptop, and work until my eyes burned. But I couldn't stop. The rejection from my parents had ignited something deep inside me, a hunger to prove that I was worthy of success, even without their help. I didn't tell anyone about the business. Not my friends. Not my family. It felt like the one thing that was truly mine. It was my own victory, a symbol of everything I was doing to take control of my life. It was my way of saying, "I don't need you." But inside, there was still the sting of my parents' rejection. Each sale was a victory, but it also reminded me of their cold dismissal. As I built my business, I also built a wall around myself. I had learned to rely only on myself. I became more and more distant from my parents, especially my sister. Amanda, the golden child, didn't need to work as hard as I did. My parents continued to fund her life, while I worked myself into the ground, silently building my future. The turning point then, graduation came. By this point, I was not only set to graduate with honors, but I had also won a prestigious business competition, a national award for young entrepreneurs. I had an offer from one of the top companies in the country, and it was all thanks to my business, which had grown into a full-fledged venture. But more importantly, I had become the person my parents had always told me I couldn't be. I remember the day of the ceremony like it was yesterday. The sun was shining, and the campus was buzzing with excitement. But as I prepared to walk across that stage, I felt a strange calm wash over me. I had already won. The ceremony began, and as the president of the university called my name, I stood up, my heart racing with anticipation. He spoke of my academic excellence, my entrepreneurial spirit, and my future career. The crowd erupted into applause as I stepped onto the stage. Then came the moment I had been waiting for, the announcement of the valedictorian, me. I was the top student in my class, and in that moment, I knew that my success wasn't just about winning an award. It was about proving something far greater. I looked over to where my parents sat. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide with disbelief. They hadn't expected this. They hadn't expected me to rise so high, to build something without their help, without their encouragement. They hadn't believed in me, but now they had no choice but to witness my success. As I delivered my valedictorian speech, I didn't focus on them. I wasn't there to make them feel bad. I was there to speak my truth, to share my journey of hardship, struggle, and ultimate triumph. I talked about the importance of believing in yourself, about how rejection can either break you or fuel you. And I made sure to mention how grateful I was to have learned that lesson without the help of those who were supposed to be there for me. The moment of truth after the ceremony, my parents approached me. My mother's eyes were filled with tears, and my father's face was a mix of guilt and pride. "Emma, I'm sorry," my mother said, her voice cracking. "We didn't believe in you, but you've done something amazing. We're proud of you." But I knew it was too late for apologies. Their acknowledgement of my success came only after they had watched me struggle in silence for years. I could hear the unspoken words in my mother's apology, "We were wrong." Amanda stood behind them, her expression a mix of jealousy and surprise. I could see her realizing something for the first time: she wasn't the only one who could succeed in this family. I nodded, accepting their apology, but I didn't offer forgiveness. It wasn't about revenge, it was about personal growth. "I didn't do this for you," I said, my voice steady. "I did it for me." My parents' faces turned even paler as they realized that the person they had rejected had become someone they could no longer control, someone they had underestimated, and someone who no longer needed them. The sweetest victory in that moment, I felt something I had never felt before: freedom. I had proven them wrong, not just for me, but for anyone who had ever been told they couldn't make it. My success was my revenge, and it was the sweetest, most powerful kind. As I walked away from that stage, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. I had done it. On my own. Without their help. Without their belief. Sometimes, family revenge stories don't end with confrontation, they end with undeniable triumph. And in the end, success is the best form of revenge.